Good morning, Wiser Nation. Good to have us here this beautiful 23rd of December. The Hamatan is catching on in Nigeria. How are you all? Good to see you. I'm so glad, so excited. God sense, Lacey, Thekla, my friend, Joyce, Simeon, Alabi, Uzamaka, Dorcas, Jennifer, George, Donna, Chinyere, Christiana, Chinwe, Beauty Cook, my teacher, Grace, Chidima, and of course, Emmanuel, Livinus. Good to see you all. Love, Apan, Ogechi, Ajayi. I think I've mentioned all the names. Augustine. These are the names I've seen so far. Welcome. Good to have you here this beautiful day. Babo, Treasure, I feel like mentioning some names, Jessica. So yesterday we were not able to round off the chapter. I am so sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. We won't let that happen again, right? I remember last year there were times we couldn't finish up in the morning and we came back in the evening to get it done, but that had not been our modus operandi this year. So I just felt I should say sorry for those who really would have looked forward to us completing the chapter together. And that's what we do. So I'm sorry about that. So today we're going to finish. And going forward, we devised a means to make sure we finish. In fact, that's the same technique that Dr. Henrietta applied when she came on her day. So one thing for us to take away is when something doesn't go right, it's wise. It is wise to quickly take a look and say, what happened? What can we do differently? What should we adopt going forward? And so on, so that we can avoid the happening from recurring. Does that make sense? Yes. So let's jump into chapter 23. Before we do, I still want to mention a few names, please. Just want to mention a few names. I see Tehila, Nimi. I see Christiana, Agboni, Nedima, Alokuza, Mary, Ebere, Ifiala. I'm only mentioning names I hadn't said hello to before. Abiola Leke, and I think Kayode. I don't know if I had mentioned your name before. Treasure. All right, that's it. So let's jump in. Thank you, Jennifer. Verse 1 of chapter 23. It says, when you go out to dinner with an influential person, mind your manners. Don't gobble your food. Don't talk with your mouth full. And don't stuff yourself. Bridle your appetite. Verses 4 and 5 say, don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Restrain yourself. Riches disappear in the blink of an eye. Wealth sprouts wings and flies off into the wild blue yonder. We proceed to verse 6. It says, don't accept a meal from a tightwad. Don't expect anything special. Let's scroll, please. He'll be as stingy with you as he is with himself. He'll say, eat, drink, but won't mean a word of it. His miserly serving will turn your stomach when you realize the meal's a sham. Let's go up. Don't bother talking sense to fools. They'll only poke fun at your words. For those of us who are wondering what I'm doing, we're going to read through the entire chapter and then we'll pick a few verses and elaborate on. Verse 10 says, don't stealthily move back the boundary lines or cheat orphans out of their property, for they have a powerful advocate who will go to bat for them. Verse 12, give yourselves to disciplined instruction. Open your ears to tested knowledge. Don't be afraid to correct your young ones. A spanking won't kill them. A good spanking, in fact, might save them from something worse than death. Verse 15, 16. Dear child, if you become wise, I'll be one happy parent. My heart will dance and sing to the tuneful truth you'll speak. Verse 17 and 18 said, don't wait for a minute. Don't for a minute envy careless rebels. Soak yourself in the fear of God. That's where your future lies. Then you won't be left with an armload of nothing. Oh, listen, dear child, become wise. Point your life in the right direction. Don't drink too much wine and get drunk. Don't eat too much food and get fat. Drunks and gluttons will end up on Skid Row in a stupor and dressed in rags. We proceed. It says, by wisdom, education, insight, listen with respect to the father who raised you. And when your mother grows old, don't neglect her. Buy truth. Don't sell it for love or money. Buy wisdom. Buy education. Buy insight. Parents rejoice when their children turn out well. Wise children become proud parents. So make your father happy and make your mother proud. Verse 26 says, dear child, I want your full attention. Please do what I show you. A prostitute is a bottomless pit. A loose woman can get you in trouble fast. She'll take you for all you've got. She's worse than a pack of thieves. Verses 29 to 35 say, who are the people who are always crying the blues besides Chelsea? Who do you know who reeks of self-pity? Who keeps getting beaten up for no reason at all? Whose eyes are bleary and bloodshot? It is those who spend the night with a bottle, for whom drinking is serious business. Don't judge wine by its label or its bouquet or its full-bodied flavor. Judge it rather by the hangover it leaves you with. The splitting headache, the queasy stomach. Do you really prefer seeing double with your speech all slurred, riddling and seasick, drunk as a sailor? They hit me, you say, but it didn't hurt. They beat on me, but I didn't feel a thing, Odeshi. When I'm sober enough to manage it, bring me another drink. That's the word for today. So now let's visit a few conversation points. Remember, wisdom is doing something that we should borrow. Repetition. Wisdom is repeating. She is repeating. She's saying several things she has said before. She's repeating because repetition is the law of deep and lasting impression. If you want something to stay with you, just repeat it enough. Can you remember how many times we recited the alphabet A to Z? So please, let me, on this note, let me please just help us. Don't say, give me 4 alphabets that are, no, it is 4 letters of the alphabet. The alphabet is A to Z. U is not an alphabet. U is a letter of the alphabet. F is a letter of the alphabet. So don't say, give me alphabet G. or alphabet O. I hear some people say that and I go, what nursery school did you attend? Alphabet is the full thing. What is inside are the letters. It's like saying, give me what is a compound now? Oh, it's like that annoying thing. People say she's from Africa. Where in Africa? I'm not. She's from Africa. She's from Africa. She's going back to Africa and in her house in Africa. Hello, I'm Nigerian. Nigeria is a country in Africa. You know how some Weibo people say, oh, I traveled to Italy, I traveled to France, and then I traveled to Africa. And I'm like, duh, where in Africa did you go? Oh, a place called Somalia. You went to Somalia in Africa. So the point has been made. The English alphabet is one with 26 letters. Yes, Africa, the country. Africa is such a beautiful country, it's such a beautiful country, like, duh. So let's look at verse 1 and 2, verses 1 to 3, talking about restraining yourself. Restraining yourself. Oh my goodness, restraining yourself. When you go out to dinner with an influential person, mind your manners. Don't we see a lot of people misbehave when they're out with influential people and the food is in excess? Don't gobble your food. Like, please, I don't know whether it is the fear of food finishing, or I don't know what that spirit is that some people just pick up when they go to events, especially where there is a buffet. Even me, I want to eat everything I see, especially when they're not the norm. Like if you go to a buffet and you see banga, that's not the soup you eat at home every day. So you want to eat banga. And then next to banga, there is obono. Meanwhile, at home, you usually would eat okra, right? Or egusi. Then you now see Rivers native soup. Wow. The temptation is to pack all of them. So you can, but in tiny bits at different times. The scarcity mindset. Yes, Lacey, I think that's the word. So you now see some people heap their plates. Oh, goodness gracious. Small rice here, beans there, plantain here, ekwan here. The plate is so massive, and they go sit down and they actually gobble it down. Wiserians, it is not in our nature as Wiserians to do so. The next time you are tempted, here's what you can do. You can take a little bit of something, go back, sit down and eat. And if you're done and there is still food at the table, go take a little bit of something else. That whole little bit per time in your plate, never comes off as looking ridiculous. In fact, that's why typically it is meant to be a spread, so that you can go back and try different meals at different times, not to heap it all up. It's bad manners, and wisdom is, I can't imagine, wisdom is so intentional. She's saying to us, it's poor manners, it's poor table manners, it's poor social manners to overly heap your plate. And guess what? On the flip side, many people who do that at buffets, at home, also do same, just that it's with the same meal. So if they're eating rice, they heap their plates so much. And so when they go out, it's almost like the same behavior. Like as a coach, as a speaking coach, as a presentation skills coach, I always say, and if you've attended any of my trainings, you'll hear me say, what you show up on stage is your everyday life, or what shows up with you on stage when you're presenting is your everyday life. So by watching you make a presentation in 20 minutes, I can tell how you live your everyday life, because the stage is an amplifier. It's difficult to pretend on stage. It will expose you. If you're not used to having warm conversations with people off stage, it is difficult to create it on stage. So I see some leaders come up, they struggle with trying to make it warm. I can tell that that is something they struggle with. And more often than not, it is real. When I speak with people who work with them, they say, I know this one, he doesn't talk to anybody. Or this one, she's alone and she's always by herself. So of course it will show up on stage. No matter how you prepare your smiles and your eye contact, will sniff you out. So what you would do at the table will show us to a large extent how you eat at home as well. It's difficult to be a neat picker at home, eating in small quantities, and then just go to an event and voila. No, it's an amplifier. If you don't do it at home, it's because you don't have, like my mom will say, person we don't know and person we no get. Now, two different things. For house, you for like load your plate, but you no get. So it shows your reality. So when you come out and you load your plate, it just shows that that's what you've wanted to do for a long time. It's been in your space. It's been your desire to load up on all of this. So be careful. It's just not good behavior, as wisdom will say. Please put up the verse again. When you eat with somebody influential. Now, why is wisdom also mentioning someone influential? That person may be what you call a sponsor, may want to speak on your behalf somewhere. That person might be, as it were, interviewing you, watching out to see what they can say of you. Influential, somebody who can influence something for you. So that's where you also want to be of your best behavior, because they might be watching out. Oh, that lady, oh, that man, he's so controlled. Do you know, of everything we spread before them, they just had 2 slices of this and that. That may be a pointer to their greed quotient. That may be a pointer to ABC, XYZ. In fact, they were the only few at the table who could really resist overloading themselves. So we can trust them with our resources, planning, XYZ. Do these things really happen in real life? Yes, they do. So be careful when you eat out. Then the other flip side for me is, who is a person of influence? I would say anybody. Even the person sitting right next to you who may seem not to have a name today might be the person of influence for your destiny. So you would want to show the same care and caution just because you are in the public. Of course, there are exceptions to these things. You might be hanging out with your old girls, your old boys, your real buddies, where you all just want to misbehave together. There are those moments. Those are not the moments we're speaking of now. Let it become a lifestyle where we have some measure of control over our appetites. I think that's the overall point. Generally have a measure of control. Wisdom has talked about modesty. Wisdom has talked about being considerate and kind. So be kind to yourself too. Be considerate of yourself. This whole food I'm about to load into my system right now, is this kind to my digestive system? No, it's not. It's not kind to my body. It might be kind to my tongue because my tongue will enjoy it, but it's not kind to my body. My body will struggle to digest this over the next X number of hours and may not even be able to conclude the digestion process before I load it up again with more food. So it's not kind. Can we agree that in 2022 we'll be kind to ourselves? We'll be kind to our eyes. The amount of time we spend in front of screens, especially if it's not absolutely necessary, be kind to your eyes. In 2022, maybe this is the time to buy, what do you call them? anti-glare glasses, those glasses that would help control blue light. Maybe it is time to finally download an app that converts your screen or gives your screen yellow light, like the one on my phone. I use Night Shift. Night Shift is an app on the Android store, the Google Play Store. When you activate it, it makes your screen yellow so that it's kinder to your eyes. Maybe you should apply something like that on your laptop too. On my laptop, I have the one called F Lux. I think it was Jennifer who introduced me to it. F dot Lux. F Lux. It makes my laptop screen, what's the word? It gives it that dim feeling. Not just so it's beyond reducing the light on the phone, on the laptop. It makes it dimmer, right? So be kind. Be kind to your body. When you sit for so long, you get up. Be kind to your back. Oh, ye women who carry handbags that weigh 5 kg every day and you're carrying it on only one shoulder. Gosh, over time that will hurt your back, possibly hurt your waist. And then you now add high heel to it. It will hurt your hip. It will hurt your knees and hurt your ankles. I saw a lady at the airport the other day, and I was like, gosh, this is so unfair to your body. Of course, I was like, gosh, she was wearing these high heels and carrying this heavy bag on one shoulder. And the bag was like a knapsack. You could have used the two, so at least it will even out the weight. The way she was walking, I could tell her pain, and I was just so like, this is so unfair to you. And she not be my mate, she's senior me. So it's different if it's a 20-something-year-old doing it. I might say, okay, well, and I don't know if the person even exercises to strengthen their ligaments and their joints. It's unfair to your body. Then you get home, you're in so much pain. We've done it. We wear the heels and then we're like, my leg don't see shaggy. And I go, why are we doing this to ourselves? And then we turn a certain age and all of a sudden, as it were, but you and I know now that there is nothing like all of a sudden. It's been mounting. There's just that straw that breaks the camel's back. You've been adding heaps and heaps and heaps of straw on the back of the camel, and the camel is standing. Then you just add one straw, boom, and this camel falls down. And everybody say, is it this one straw? It's not that one straw. It's the accumulation of all the straws. It's an accumulation of all the straws that break the camel's back. So we want to be healthy and strong in our older days. The decisions will start showing up now. Me, I have started wearing canvas to my events. I stand a lot at events. I might as well be kind to my body and wear flats that are comfortable and good for my feet. Wow. So that I am kind and considerate to myself. My body is the vehicle that will carry my spirit, that will carry my dreams and desires. I need to take good care of that body. When the body decides to give up, all the wonderful ideas, dreams, desires go away. There is no other body to carry it. So let me treat my body with kindness. If you fuel your car, you put in premium, what do you call it, engine oil, you take care of it, you wash it. We can do same for our bodies. Yes, we brush our teeth and all of that. We can take a little more care of our bodies. Let's look at verses 4 to 5. So be cautious, verses 4 to 5. It says, don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Restrain yourself. Riches disappear in the blink of an eye. Wealth sprouts wings and flies off into the wild blue yonder. So if I don't wear myself out trying to get rich, what is all my hustle for? Remember, well, for those who know, I despise the word hustle. I do not like it. I do not believe in it. I think it's a wrong expression of what we are trying to convey. We are not hustlers. We are vision bearers. We are fulfillers of destiny, and we get the work done. We do what we have to do to get the work done. Hustling, in my opinion, is just well, from what the dictionary would say, it's just trying to get by. We're not just trying to get by. So we would, as it were, wear ourselves out in the place of fulfilling purpose, fulfilling destiny. I'm watching a documentary on Netflix right now. It's called Inside the Brain of Bill, or Inside Bill's Brain. It's talking about the documentary is showing how Bill Gates thinks. So it's showing things about him. And I find it interesting, and I want to, over the years, I've always wanted to read more of biographies, understand how the people that I admire reason. And one of the things that I've seen about Bill Gates is interesting is that yes, he had achieved Microsoft. In fact, it shows, I didn't really know this part. I had never really seen this. I now have been asking myself, maybe I had heard before. But anyway, I realized that in his younger days, he was quite brutal and brash because he's a very intelligent person. He had always been a highly intelligent person from young. He had been very good at processing large amounts of information in a short time. So he couldn't understand why people thought slow. Almost the same thing as Angela Merkel. And then for those of you who have been close to me, you know, I've said this a few times in the past. I've said people like us, in quotes, that are high flyers, that as it were are trailblazers, that had to figure things out for ourselves. We tend to be impatient with other people because we are wondering how they can't figure it out. What you figured out like that, how is it that you can't think? So we need to be constantly reminded that we are not all the same. And there are other people who also process things faster than us. So we should be kind and considerate, else we tend to be brash. We tend to be, what's the word? Insulting and insultive. We tend to be impatient, and we discard people quite easily because we can't understand why they're not thinking fast. Because some of us were pressured into situations that caused us to think fast, to grow. And some other people have not been through such processes. In Bill Gates' case, he was just that very smart child who was very interested in computers, and he would even leave the house without his parents' consent, skip out in the middle of the night, go to the one university there to study. So he had gotten fast. So he was very impatient with people. He would call people names. People would come to him with ideas, and he would say, "That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard before." 5 minutes later, somebody else is coming to him with an idea. He would say, "That's the most stupid thing." And people were like, "How is it that you just heard one stupid thing 5 minutes ago, and now this one is also the most stupid thing?" So over time, he realized he needed to get better with relating to people. He could be trapped in his head for so long. So social skills were not the best for him. And his mother, one of the things his mother tried to do for him constantly was to help him see bigger than winning. So when you win, what will you do with your wins? So he just wanted to win. He wanted to solve problems. He wanted to be the one to get it done. He was the person who would say, look, if you can't lead, shift. Look, I need to lead. I need to get it done. So his mother was trying to help him strike the balance. Beyond winning, how can your win be a blessing to the world and to community? In fact, the word she would use is community. How can your win help community? And so she was instrumental to his thinking beyond self, because she as a person was a worthy philanthropist. His parents were very wealthy people. He was from money, and he keeps saying, that's part of the luck that he had. So people shouldn't discount that he had access to a lot of things that ordinary people didn't have. So I come back to the point. So now that he had made so much money, or well, from even before he made so much money, from when Microsoft was established, he had already begun to put aside money for the foundation. The foundation is almost as old as Microsoft itself. The foundation was not created when Microsoft became big. On its way to being big, they had already begun to put money aside to help community. And of course, they were very interested, himself and his wife, in the term I don't like to use, in the third world or the developing world. And so they were committing to giving to the cure of this and that, until he said, you know what, we can commit our life to ensuring that polio is eradicated in our lifetime, because polio is not just a deadly disease, a very painful one that would leave people deformed and unable to live life to the fullest. So here they are committing initially millions and hundreds of millions to billions to the eradication of polio. Please put up that verse again, verses 4 and 5. He would spend hours, days, weeks focusing on not trying to get rich, trying to solve the world's problems. He was wearing himself out, as it were, solving the world's problems. We're on chapter 23. Right now, I am on verse 4 and 5. So when I hear people say, Ekene, you dey walk, that's it, you dey walk, Adebola, your walk, you go blow any money, Let's bring the focus back, that it's not about the money. I hear that a lot. People say, Joyce, you're just moving up and down. Hey, you dey blow, that's the money, Let's take our attention away from the money. Wiser nation, we are better than that, to only equate hard work with money. That's an insult to your purpose. If the equality of your time and your energy is only how much money it can bring in, I think it's an insult on my destiny. It's an insult on your destiny, that all we can measure with, don't do it. Don't do it to other people. Don't say it anymore. Oh gosh, you work so hard. Kai, I'm sure you're really making money. We're too wise for that now. We are too wise for that now. We don't want to be those people who are so poor that all they have is money. We want impact. We want problems solved. We want communities changed. We want growth. Money will be a far record. Now we keep track of the monies because the money is the vehicle, is the money is what helps fulfill the end result, not the end in itself. And if the money has been the end for you, I would say think again. But at the same time, I will not argue with anybody whose purpose in life is to make money. If that's your purpose in life, I can't argue with that because there might be more to it than I know. And it's your purpose, is your purpose. It's fine. It's fine. You want to know that when you died, you had $68 billion in your account or to your name, and you want it to be written on your tombstone. She died, he died with $68 billion. That might be your purpose in life, and so you're fulfilled. I won't argue with that. I'm speaking now to those who believe they are made for more than money. So wisdom is saying to us in verses 4 and 5, don't wear yourself out trying to get rich in money. Maybe also rich in network. No, don't wear yourself out. Don't die because you're trying to get rich. Still be kind to yourself whilst getting rich. Riches on its own, and now I personally am focusing on money. Money, riches will disappear in the blink of an eye. Impact doesn't disappear in the blink of an eye. Well, it usually doesn't. It takes more time to disappear. Let's look at verse 12. Verse 12. Give yourselves to disciplined instruction. So for those who are just joining, we read the entire chapter first, and now we're just picking some verses to spotlight. Give yourselves to disciplined instruction. Open your ears to tested knowledge. Andrew Carnegie's purpose was to industrialize the United States. He wanted steel to be the tool for building a better country. His purpose actually was to make steel a worthy commodity for development. That was his purpose actually, not to make money. His purpose was to ensure that we no longer were building with wood and iron, but then we could build massive structures with steel. And that was the first time the United States began to see massive structures come up. The Grand, what's that station called in New York? That was built with steel, and then we began to see high rises because buildings could now be erected with steel. He was solving a problem. Let's go back. I want us to be clear. Grand Central Station. So he wanted to put up monuments that before steel could not be achieved. So then we could have 4-story buildings, 5-story buildings. What we wanted to see, a vertical growth in development. It was for industrialization. That was his purpose. And until steel became the option, he wasn't going to rest. But he made a lot of money. So you see, money follows problem solving. So he spent the first half of his life becoming the steel giant of the world. Steel that we have, but have not yet been able to use. You make a lot of money whilst solving a problem. The same steel that Singapore, as tiny as it is, has used to create some of the best real estate the world has ever seen, because she grows up. Her buildings are so high, and 98% of Singaporeans are said to own their own homes. Yes, it might be smaller or as small as Lagos, but how many Lagosians own their own homes? Kogi State is the one state where people should own their own homes, because that's the home of where steel is in Nigeria. Yes, we understand there are problems in the carbon which can still be fixed. Let's come back to solving. Whoever in Nigeria will solve the Nigeria steel problem will also make the kind of money that Andrew Carnegie made. The thing is to solve the problem. Solve the problem. Whoever will solve the problem of flaring, gas flaring. There's a gentleman in Port Harcourt who owns a company called Boskel. Boskel began to create in country with 100% Nigerian talent what we call smokeless flares, and he was selling it to the international oil companies, so that when they flare gas, which we have agreed with ourselves is compulsory, rather than it be smoke flare, it will now be smokeless. Boskel made a lot of money solving that problem, but you see, there's still so many companies who they don't care whether it's smoke flare or smokeless flare. We just need to flare the gas. If he will get, there are over 160 gas flares in Nigeria. If he will get all of them to use smokeless flares, he would make a ton of money, yet solve the problem. So what is the problem we are solving? Obama may not be one of the richest people on the face of the earth, but just because he solved the problem of a Black person becoming president, he can command $5 million to speak at an event for 1 hour. Money follows solving. He's known as the first Black president. It might not have solved the world economic problem, but he gave hope to people that we can make it as Blacks. And he'll earn. So let's solve the problems. Don't wear yourself out trying to get rich. Maybe wisdom is also saying to us that if you wear yourself out solving the problem, then that might be okay. Maybe rather focus on how can I solve this problem. But in all, let's be kind to ourselves. Let's go to verse 12. I think we had already moved to verse 12. Yes. Give yourselves to disciplined instruction. Open your ears to tested knowledge. So I think one thing we are agreeing as Wiser Nation that we will do better for 2022. Remember, it is 31 days unraveling wisdom for 2022. Wisdom for the new year is we will commit to disciplined instruction. Now, disciplined in terms of it is specific to my area of discipline. Can we agree? So what is your area of discipline for 2022? Is it politics? Is it oil and gas? Is it coaching? What is that area of your discipline? Is it nursing as a nurse? Is it as a doctor? Where is your discipline? Are you a caterer? Are you a farmer? An agricultural investor? Philanthropist? What information will you use? Will you attain? Will you buy this new year? What disciplined information will you commit to? What human capacity development program will you partake of in your area of discipline? Are you a parent? Will you attend a parenting program? Will you buy a parenting book? Will you buy something to make you a better husband or a better wife? Will you join an accountability group to see yourself become a better business person? Your business has been struggling with sales. Will you finally go to Trisha B's and register for one of her programs, or at least watch her page every day until she does bundle promo? Then you can buy the program. What is that disciplined instruction? I am looking at it as instruction for my discipline, and then the discipline to commit to it, the discipline to follow through on the instructions that I will receive. Please put up that verse again, verse 12. Give yourself to disciplined instruction. Open your ears to tested knowledge. So, what superior knowledge will I get? Some knowledge on the streets of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn are not superior. Some of them are not tested. Sometimes we pick cheap food, easy to get. No more. In 2022, tested knowledge might mean institutionalized knowledge. Some of us will need to go and buy programs from a credible higher institution. Some of us will have to now go to University of Ibadan to do a postgraduate something in something. You've been getting the information in bits and pieces from Google University and co. I'm saying Google, not everything on Google is also tested. So I'm saying tested. That knowledge you're getting, is it tested, or does it just sound nice? Let's not get knowledge that is also just to make us happy. Some of us will have to go and pay for verified information. Maybe this is that year that you will finally enlist in a chartered institute of something, so that the knowledge you will get there has been tested. Maybe you go and look through the CV of some of the people you love and admire and you want to be like, and see where they've gone to school as well. And now, for the first time in your life, save up money and go to INSEAD. Do a course with INSEAD. Do a course with Lagos Business School. Do a program with Port Harcourt Business School. I know there's Port Harcourt Garden City Business School. Check if they are tested. I believe they are, because I know some of the faculty there, and those are people who have excelled in what they teach. Maybe this is the time for you to go join, something with a little more credibility. And when I say cheap, sometimes I use the word loosely. It's free doesn't necessarily make it cheap. When I say cheap, I mean it doesn't give you much. It's just surface knowledge. It's not deep enough to change you. You might even pay for it. It might be expensive in terms of what you paid, but it was cheap knowledge because it didn't give you anything. Wisdom calls it tested knowledge. Maybe this is the time you will hear that person you like is having a master class. So you have always wanted to be around Herbert Wigwe. Oh, the way they ran Access Bank was this and that. Now you hear of a program where Herbert Wigwe is going to be speaking. That's tested knowledge I would get there. Not only Herbert Wigwe will be there. Oh, this other person, that other person. They mentioned some very achieved people. And it's not just a one-off 2-hour conference. They say it's a 4-day program and it will cost you 280,000, 300,000. Wisdom is saying buy it. Go for depth. Buy it. Oh, this person is having a retreat in one place. And I like to talk about Trisha Biz because I've attended Trisha Biz's program, at least 3 of her programs, and I got value. D- Deep. Trisha is one person who puts in her blood and soul to whatever it is she's doing. And her forte is to teach people sales, how to sell what you have. Her December boot camp, the business growth workshop, I think this year was sold at, I'm not sure if I checked the prices, I think 400,000 or 500,000 for a seat. For some of us, start saving. Imagine that it was 400,000 in 2021. In 2022, maybe they will add 100K on top or 200. So just put your mind in maybe 600, 700K, but it's always in December. Start saving now. Start looking for what you would sell, what you would do to have that money to go there, because you will go there. First of all, before you even hear anything, you will be networking with people like you who are intelligent enough to put money aside. Look, for me, when I attend high ticket events, I always know that one thing I will take away from there is high ticket network. The quality of people who will now become my friends. Because me, I will tell you, I know they carry last. In fact, I know they come second. I will become friends with almost everybody there, become acquainted. So we are thinking on the same frequency. We are people, wise people together. Because for somebody to put aside 500,000 to come and attend program like you, they are already in your kind of brain space. That's one. Two, and I will be very honest with you, I already know it is people like that that would also buy my program. If they will buy a program of 500,000, they will buy mine of 200. They will buy mine of, I don't, one of my business ideals is to have affordable programs. They will buy. And guess what? Many of them don't even just buy my programs. They come pay for one-on-one sessions. So I will tell you some of the things you do to get noticed and to grow your network when you meet other like minds that you want in your space. Number one, speak up. I've taught this. If you've ever attended any program where you've heard me teach this, you can please indicate. And I will teach it again this morning. Number one, speak up. When you get there, be the first to speak to people. Hello, how are you doing? My name is Joyce. Don't wait for people to speak to you. Speak to them first. First cut is the deepest. So be the first cut. Get in there. Hello, how you doing? If you can brand yourself, do so. Wear a t-shirt that has your Joyce Daniels, or well, whatever brand you have. Put it there. Oh, I am the, where, so that people even can take you in. So I'm going for such a program. When I attended Trisha's program that last year, I wore my titanium t-shirt because I wanted them to know me as titanium. So as people are meeting, oh, titanium, yes, you can call me titanium. Some people didn't know my name initially, but they knew titanium. So give them what you want them to take. If I don't give them, how would they take it? Are you there? So if you need to brand yourself well. For years, I've stopped doing it now because I have another signature. But for years, whenever I traveled, I wore my Joyce Daniels t-shirt. I always had them in my suitcase. During my travel time from airport to my location, I would always wear my Joyce Daniels t-shirt. I still do it to a large extent when I'm meeting clients for a dry run. If they say the dry run for the event is the day before, I will wear my Joyce Daniels t-shirt. First of all, not everybody there knows me. As I'm walking in, oh, that's the MC, she's here. You can see me. So I'm letting you take me in because I didn't come here to be forgotten. I'm too good for you not to notice me. Hello. Hello. We talked about this amongst, I think, the first 3 days of Wiser. Be noticed. People remember those who they noticed. If they didn't notice you, they will forget you and you'll be wondering why they have not called you back for business. They didn't take you in. So speak up first, introduce yourself to people. Be careful not to take over conversations. Get in enough to be taken in, but not to overshadow. So be careful to strike the balance. Ask questions. That's number two. It's very closely linked to speaking up, but now it is even more intentional. Ask questions that Google cannot answer. Questions that are the type that when you ask the question, people say, that question is good. Thank you for asking that question. So you are listening with intent, with intention to take in, and you're also looking intentionally for the questions to ask. So if I don't do this, so you see, don't take your question home. But also in the same swipe, I would say there's no stupid question. So don't say, is this a question that Google can answer? Cannot. Don't get hung up on that. Ask question. Can you just say ask question? The more intelligent the question is, the better. But if it's a question in your heart, if you are not clear, ask. Almost anything you're not clear about, guess what? Other people are not clear too, but they're waiting for who to speak first. So can you please just be the voice for those who are waiting for who to speak first? Raise your hand and say, excuse me, I just need clarity here. I might have missed something, or I just need clarity, please. Please don't say sorry. Don't start by saying, excuse me, sorry. No, what are you sorry for? What did you do that you're sorry? Excuse me, I need clarity on this. Straight. Trisha, Joyce, please, may I have your attention? Thank you. May I ask the question? What do we do about fire on? Not sorry, please, everyone, sorry. I see a lot of people do that at events. Please, sorry. My question is, what are you sorry for? You paid your money to come in there. You have every right. Who are you sorry of? Stop it. Wiserians, I say what? Stop it. Stop saying sorry for what you didn't do bad. You're asking questions. And in fact, you're asking questions that other people want to ask, but they don't have the mind to ask. So stand up and say, I'm asking this question for myself, which I have done at events, and people will now laugh and clap for me. I'm asking this question of myself, and as many as have the question in their hearts, but are waiting for who to ask the question first. Please answer me. What's this thing? And people will now laugh and they'll be like, yay, thank you. I just got your attention. I put you in my pocket. Hello. Yeah. So ask questions. Number 3. So I said number 1, speak up first. Number 2, ask questions. Number 3, profess solutions cautiously. Be a problem solver cautiously. The reason I say cautiously is watch the person who owns the event. They may not want you answering questions. They may want to answer all the questions. Now, it's a brand. Some people, that's their brand. For example, me, at my event, I prefer to answer the questions myself until I open it up and say, who else would like to throw some perspective to this? So be careful. There are some people who would want everybody to be involved in the conversation. So if Kabirat asked a question, can we use please? I would say, everybody, what do we think about that? Then people say, yes, we can use please. Oh, yes, we can use please. I say, okay, yes, so Kabirat, I think we can use please. Not every teacher is like that. So Kabirat, yes, we can use please. I usually prefer to answer my questions. So ask me the question. You people came here to me. If you wanted to hold seminar, you'd have announced your own seminar. All of us would have come there. This is my seminar. I'm the one answering question. Yeah. Don't answer it. Be careful. Be careful. So respond cautiously. So at events like that, when a question has been asked, and let's say the teacher responds, I can raise my hand and say, can I add to that a perspective, please? And they say, oh, yes, please. And I go straight to the point and give the best response ever. That's a moment to shine. I would say something I have tried. So it comes from a place of evidence, something I have tried, or statistics show, or the fact is, or there's a testimonial, or there's even something I have here to show for it. In addition to what the teacher just responded, I would add that you can also do this and that and that and that. And we can even talk more during the break about it. Thank you so much for giving me the privilege to speak. Wow. And they're like, oh, wow, that was very intelligent. You've attracted more people to you. Like, wow, right? So be a problem solver. Let me tell you one I did as we gradually round off. Something I did at one program. Those who were there, I don't know if anybody was there. I know I read very well. I'm a good reader. I know how to add emotions to reading. So the convener of the program was reading something from a book. And so I raised my hand and I said, may I read? And she said, oh yeah, please read. And so I read it with such drama. People were laughing and clapping like, oh my God, where the comma is, the angle, like she looked, and said, what is, I went into character. So the next time she was going to read, people were like, excuse me, can that lady read? And everybody was turning to me. And that's how I became the reader for the rest of the program. But guess what? Remember, I had also introduced myself as a presentation trainer, coach, as a public speaking coach. So the way I was reading was adding credence to who I said I was. From that class alone, at least 7 people paid me for one-on-one coaching within 3 months. Like, the way you read and you were so captivating. Can you teach me to do same? Fantastic. 100,000 naira per hour only. And for you, I don't think you need more than 2 hours. And they were paying like, look, I didn't come here just to learn. I came to learn, but I also came to shine. So is it okay to shine where you are with caution? Shine in a way that people can't deny you were shining. You know, there's some people at events that you get tired of them because every time they want to talk, and at some point you're like, no, 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 that's not regulated. Don't become a nuisance. You can be intelligent and preferring solution, but become a nuisance. So sometimes you have to bite your tongue. You know the thing to say, but don't talk because you've spoken twice already in the past 30 minutes. Regulate. Somebody say regulate. Else you become a nuisance. Like, I know she knows, but she's always talking. Any small thing she raises her hand, any small thing she wants to add. Strike the balance. Strike the balance, put a little, come back a little, put a little, don't give it all too much. I hope this has made sense. We're going to look at verse 19. Jenny, can we look at verse 19 to 21 and we close on that? Verse 19, we read the whole chapter. We're now just spotlighting some verses. Verse 19 says, oh, listen, dear child. Please raise it up to the end of 21. Oh, listen, dear child. Become wise. Point your life in the right direction. The direction of being a solution provider. The direction of knowing how to regulate money, how to regulate processes. Don't drink too much wine and get drunk this Christmas season. Everywhere you go, they will offer you wine. Me, Joyce, I'm not. In fact, wisdom is not against wine. You see, wisdom is against drinking too much. Strike the balance. Don't get drunk. Don't eat too much food and get fat. Then you go and register for gym in January. Those of you who already have gym subscriptions, this is not the time to stop your gym subscription. This is not the time to take a break. And yes, I'm shouting it as a fit famist. Drunks and gluttons will end up on Skid Row. Please keep it up there. Drunks and gluttons will end up on Skid Row. What does Skid Row mean? For those who are not sure, let's clarify. Skid Row meaning. Skid Row means a rundown part of town frequented by vagrants and alcoholics. Or it also means a desperately unfortunate or difficult situation. Those who will get drunk and get fat during Christmas season, and I'm being specific, they will enter difficult situation because by January now, some of us will now say, at least my church will do 21 days fast. By the time I fast for 21 days, I will lose the weight. You have forgotten that you have crossed 43 years, that the way you were losing weight at 33 and 43 are not the same. You now wonder why this time you fast 46 days, but you have not shifted. Your body has changed though. You are not the same spring chicken of last year. Wisdom is saying, don't end up on Skid Row. Please put up the verse again. Don't end up on Skid Row. Verse what? Where are we? 19 to 21 says, drunkards and gluttons will end up on Skid Row in a stupor and dressed in rags. So be careful. We don't want to put ourselves in health challenges at the beginning of the year. The effect of some of the Excess weight and alcohol can affect our mood. We'll find that we are moody. We might find that we're not able to think through processes to the end. It can affect our sleep. When you are in that place of putting on weight because we are eating unchecked, your physiology, the way your body acts, will be different. Some of us will not sleep well. Some of us will experience indigestion, heartburn. Your eyes might become blurry. Please don't do this. Don't celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, the Savior of the world, by destroying your body. Yeah. Christmas, the essence, Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. It's just a date picked to celebrate his birth. The essence of the whole period is to celebrate the birth of the Lord and Savior that many of us believe in. Don't celebrate his birth by destroying your body. Don't celebrate his birth by making poor choices. Be careful. Regulate. The question about approaching influencers for pictures at events and posting on social media, I would always use your 5 W's and H. Why are you doing it? What do you hope to achieve with it? Those 2 questions first will determine whether you should or not. If it's just to know, oh, in your lifetime, you were close enough to take this picture with this person, that's fine. If it's to make a point, so be clear on your motives. I think motives determine everything. Then we'll now ask the how. Did I approach the person in a way that was not intrusive to their time? Because they're also human beings. They came for this program to have a good time. If they're completely, totally inundated by fans taking pictures, it might also just wear them out. And some of them, once in a while, will now become cranky and be like, it's okay, please. Because we also want to be kind and considerate. Remember, for 2022, kind and considerate, do the right things and then do things right. Is it being kind and considerate, or they've been taking pictures, you've been seeing other people take pictures, and I say, oh, me, I don't go carry last. Let's take 2. And you can already see that person's smile is fading, but so let's be regulated. Yeah, let's use sense. There are some celebrities that we call our heroes. For example, RMD was one of mine. The first day I finally saw him, I was even too starstruck to ask for a picture. I was just looking. I didn't say a word. I was just looking at him like, what's that his checkmate's name? What's that his name in checkmate? Well, that was all I was thinking about, that his checkmate name. Like, he's standing in front of me. Then he was commissioner in Delta State. I was just looking. I didn't say anything. Then later that evening, we were on the same elevator. I got in, and then he came after. I was frozen. I just smiled at him, and he nodded. I'm sure he's used to it. I was just like, Meanwhile, the day I saw what's his name, Wizkid, he was standing alone. This was earlier this year, June this year. He was standing right alone in front of Echo Signature. Only him. They had gone to get his car, and I was with my nieces and nephews, and I know how they adore him. So I just said, "Hello, sir. How are you? Can we just take this picture?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." And I told my nieces and nephews, "Gather around. Let's take it together." They were so happy. They were like, Wizkid, Wizkid, and he smiled. That was it. If it was only me, Wizkid is not a hero of mine. I would not even have asked for picture. I like his music, but let me now see somebody like Sean Connery. Sean Connery, you will take picture with me. So your why, your what, your who, your where, your when will answer your question. We have that ultimate formula for helping us take decisions. Who is this person? Why do I want to do it? How can I do it the best way? Where, for almost any decision you want to take in life, you can use your 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, where, when, why, how, and get it done. And at the end of the day, be happy with whatever results you get. You know that I love you, right? And I only want what's best for you. Hey, Denzel Washington. I won't only take picture, I will do video. I will do TikTok that I've never done before. Denzel. Denzel the Equalizer. In fact, I'll watch Equalizer. Today I promised myself I'll see one movie. So maybe I should watch Equalizer and just do some Denzel channel something. All right, everybody. I love you so much. Enjoy this season. Find reasons to laugh and be happy and be merry. Oh, we recorded a video yesterday, a Christmas video. Jennifer, thank you so much. It was such a beautiful recording session. Thank you to everybody who made it happen. We can't wait to drop the video on Christmas morning. We love you. Bye for now, Wiser Nation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so glad that you are here. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell icon to get notifications every time I post a new video so that you miss out on nothing. See you again. Bye for now.